A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu. Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths, but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything.
There is something lame about building a podcast studio. People are going to hang me in the town square for that. I guess if that is like your bread and butter, I guess what I'm thinking of as lame is like someone who's like, I have like 30 listeners, like, and I'm going to build out a podcast. I'm going to build this city on a hill for myself. I'm going to staple some egg crates to the walls and people need to know what I built a studio.
I do see that a lot because, you know, I'm involved in the small indie podcast community and people have full rooms. I'm like, I don't even have a desk. When I'm recording mine, I'm sitting on the couch.
I mean, I can appreciate you wanting it to sound good, but I guess there's something minorly self-aggrandizing about like, and I've built this for myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for what? Like, this is not going to be... There's too many podcasts out there.
There are. There's some stat about how like
it's about celebrity podcasts.
90% of podcasts or something don't have more than 6 episodes, right?
That's the other thing. I believe, because I remember when we were like trying to figure out a name for this podcast, you go through all these cute names and then you Google it and it's like, oh, there is a podcast and they had like 2 episodes and then like most people, they didn't get super famous overnight. So they're like, I guess I'll just stop. You see that all the time with like websites or Instagram handles. And it's not even someone like snatched it up so that you couldn't use it. It's just like they get a good name and they're like, yeah, I kind of delight at like looking at Instagram and it'll be like fun food facts, like your site for all the fun food facts, 2 posts. It's kind of like, that's right. Most people don't have stick-to-itiveness and follow through. And they're like, this didn't work immediately, just like I think it did for everyone else. I guess I'll give up.
Yeah.
Oh, I built this podcast. It's like, why? I was about to say, so I can review movies. It should be kind of like when you want to work out, so you buy all the stuff and then like you never get around to it. The reward should be once you've met a certain goal, you get the thing.
Yeah. Start with the cheap,
like football pads.
Yeah. You shouldn't get a helmet until
rush
you've
for
played
2,000 yards. Now you get your helmet. Yeah. Terrible. Is that a lot? I think so.
It feels like a lot.
I picked like a high number.
Because a field is only 100 yards, right?
So I guess 2,000 is not that many.
Well, that rushing the whole field 20 times before you can wear a helmet feels like a lot.
It's so far. We used to have to run suicides on the football field, like for JV volleyball. And you're like, why? A football field is so big. And you watch on TV and you're just like, they're just going. You look at a basketball court, is so big. But those guys are so big. It's a lot. Have you tried to play basketball? The answer is no for you. As like an adult? Have you tried to run full court as an adult?
I did have a hoop in my backyard.
You did have a hoop. That's half court. That's your parents' driveway. A full court basketball game as an adult.
Yeah.
You'll have to go see an osteopath. You'll have to, I was thinking of osteoporosis. You will have to check yourself into the emergency room.
Yeah. I like a game of horse.
Like a nice, quiet game of horse. Some fresh horse meat.
No. I saw a bird today eating another bird.
No, you didn't.
On the road.
No, you didn't.
Yes. It was in the street eating something dead that looked like a bird.
Okay,
I didn't know
that
birds
looked like a bird. The story unravels.
Okay, then it was eating something dead, and I didn't know birds were carnivores that weren't like vultures. Like this was just like a little guy.
Okay, you didn't see a bird eating another bird.
Let's
Was it
go
a
out
hawk?
there and look. No, it was like a little bird
You
eating
didn't.
a meat.
Nope.
Yes, I did.
There was something next to the meat. Nope. You didn't. I think you have.
I just swerve around it.
Deep down, you're a liar.
Why would that be my lie?
Because you think I can't check you on it. But upon
We'll
pressing
go
you
out
further,
there.
no, it already unraveled. You're like, well, it looked like
it was eating meat.
No.
That I guarantee.
Nope. And there's no way you can guarantee it.
You think it was sitting in the carcass of something eating a bug?
I don't know. Or a piece of plastic. It wasn't eating meat.
Why would it be eating plastic?
Why would it be eating another bird? Like a warbler just went nuts.
I swear this bird was Sunwell.
You shouldn't swear.
I swear.
You shouldn't do it.
Do you want to follow
Does this sound
up?
cool? Does this sound cool? If I do it near my water bottle?
Oh,
It's a reusable.
I don't think
It's a
anyone can
canteen.
hear that.
No, you guys can't hear this echo. All right.
We have a follow-up, an update.
This better not be from that Australian person who works for the Secret Service Zoo.
No.
Okay, because I'm done with that story.
This is Born to Dream 82. Hilarious Iliza, Magical
Thank you.
Emily, Sweet Peachy Princess Tianfu, and
Magical
Little Gracie.
Emily.
Magical, yeah.
An imaginary Gracie.
Imaginary Gracie. What if you did find out Gracie was made of?
I'd be like, it's right up there with the bird meat story.
Okay, so I want to give you all an update. I'm the gal with bipolar disorder who wrote to tell you how heartbroken I was that my favorite aunt cut me off completely after a COVID kerfuffle.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. So you addressed my episode, advised me to pour my heart out to her in a letter as my last attempt at reconciliation. I did.
Oh,
And it's been 2 months with no reply, even
Oy.
though she told my mom she would respond. I'm writing
Ew.
now to tell you that even though things didn't work out and our relationship is most likely not salvageable, I'm extremely grateful for your write a letter advice. The experience of telling her
There you
exactly
go.
how hard the pandemic has been for me, my specific bipolar complications, and how much I love her was beautifully cathartic.
There you go. That's
Thank
why
you
I
for
said-
helping me process my emotions, even though I didn't get the result I wanted. You're wonderful. Isn't that
Okay,
nice?
so you see, people, sometimes just getting it out. What's important is that you feel okay. Also, I'd like to know what was in that letter because I don't know how you wrote it.
What?
like, listen
Why
up,
are you
Aunt bitch.
So suspicious of your listeners.
I think it's not my listeners, it's humans. I think everyone's a liar. And I'm sitting across from a bird one right now. That's great. Good for you. And that's really the point of the exercise was more about you. Your aunt sounds like a giant bee. So whatever. Screw her. You're better off without her. What a nightmare. Imagine how horrible she'd be when you got married or like did anything. She just sounded good for you.
Yeah.
Moving on and moving up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have a lull in the pod. You can't go, yeah.
What? It's a nice moment of reflection.
You know what is the perfect food to eat on the podcast? A
What?
smoothie. Because you can't hear me chewing it.
No, but if you get to the bottom, you're going to go,
No, I don't have a straw.
okay.
It's a sippy cup.
Okay. Good for you. All right. Hi, Liza, Emily, Snow Peach, and Hot Scotty. I don't like my sister's husband. I don't just mean I would never be friends with someone like him. I mean,
I
I
would
can't
never sleep with him.
stand him. My sister just married him last year, and every time I'm forced to spend time with him, I feel like I'm dying inside. He's the most negative person I've ever met, and he's socially inept.
Oy.
I know his behavior is due to insecurity, and I try to empathize, but I'm repulsed by him and even shocked at the things he says. I'll say I like something, and he'll say, ugh, I fucking hate that, or that's fucking trash.
Jesus.
Even if no one mentions anything, he just rants about how everything is trash.
Was he a comic?
Is he you?
Is he me?
I also don't like how he treats people in the service industry. If he's inconvenienced in
Ooh.
the slightest, he calls them fucking peasants. Was it wrong of me to not say anything to my sister? Should I have told her how I felt before she married him? I was thinking of her happiness and their relationship never had anything to do with me. But now they're married and I realize this guy is going to be in my life forever. He's going to be the uncle to my kids one day. Should I continue to keep my feelings to myself for my sister's sake? What would you do? Thank you. And thank you for keeping me laughing during my quarantine.
That's so rough. That's
a
so
grump.
rough because people are always so quick to point out like when a woman has flaws, but like nobody talks about how male insecurities are the bane of our societal existence. Ugh. Male insecurities are why women suffer. It's why there are a lot of shootings. It's why it's like, oh, women don't like me, so check this out. It's the bane of a lot of people's workplace issues.
Yeah.
Bad reporting, things like that. Like a man scorned, a shitty guy who feels insecure. Part of me is like, wouldn't it be great if you could like really get to know, like, what does she see in him? You know, does he make her laugh? Is he actually funny? It is someone who's always negative and it isn't funny. If you don't love them, like, it is exhausting. What's going to happen is you're going to say to your sister, like, I don't like your husband. He's just like a bummer to be around. What's she supposed to do? Like, either she'll be like, I know, we work on it. He's actually, you know, really insecure. He's got this third nipple that's gotten really long. He feels really bad about it. Or it'll just, you know, it sucks because a lot of times women can't hear that. They're just like, well, I love him, so this is who I've chosen. I never understand how women are just like, I'll just pick the worst one and that's what I'm going to be with because these eggs, they need to be fertilized. Women have options. I don't get this necessity to just like pick a dude and latch on. There is the version where you just try to understand him a little better. You know, can you go, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes people, maybe he's insecure around you. Maybe he can tell you that he doesn't like, that you don't like him. Can you take him out to coffee and kind of just like get to know him a little bit?
But then at a coffee shop, he's going to call the barista a peasant.
It sucks too, because if you were like, Scott, that is so rude. He'd be like, what? Like,
yeah.
Some people cannot hear feedback. I mean, is there a version where like you just get really quiet and you just say to your sister, like, he's rude to wait staff. He's rude. He's so angry. If you say that someone's angry, I've noticed people, they have no choice but to sort of back down. If you're like, he's annoying, he's arrogant, he'll be like, suck it. But if you're like, he's so angry, it makes me anxious, it's hard to be around, then I think that's like another way to frame it. If you frame it like this person is like untenable as a human.
Yeah, and
that's tough.
With the uncle to your kids thing, I think
don't worry about it.
You can cross that bridge when it comes to it, but you can just be like, look, sister, I want to see you, but his anger is stressing me out. Like, just see her without him. Invite her over.
Yeah. And ask her, be like, you know, maybe she thinks that too, you know, because maybe she finds she obviously has no problem with it, or maybe she does. And I don't know how close you are to him, but if you're just like, he has such a bad vibration, it's kind of like hard to be around. Especially to notice if a bunch of you go out, like, does everyone else just kind of get quiet?
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's a way to kind of like silence him into being silent. Like if you're all just quiet, like if no one's yes-anding. It sucks though, because we've heard a lot of these questions where like the girl is the one like, what do I fucking do? I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I've never hated anyone that anyone close to me has been with. I've definitely been like, I don't really need this person. So you're just kind of quiet, or you just kind of never ask about them. Like, what's the least oxygen you can give him? You know?
Yeah.
Never ask, never include. You know, you invite your sister and just be like, oh, I just didn't think he'd want to come. Like, just
he doesn't like anything.
Yeah, be like, oh, he just seems like he doesn't like anything, so I didn't want to bother him. Like, put it like that. Like, he's so ice cold that you're like, I just assumed he would hate it.
Yeah.
He always talks about how much he hates stuff. Like, he's putting that out in the world. Like, you should be able to use that against him. Like, yeah, he just seemed, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, you could just make it clear that you're tolerating him.
Yeah.
And also be prepared one day to just full on say it. Be like, you hate everything. You are rude to everyone. And it makes it very difficult to be. Just save that for like a knockdown drag out. But you just want to hang out with your sister. You don't have to hang out with him. I have that with friends. I'm like, I don't know your spouse and they're not invited because I don't care. You got to be extra cool to want to hang out with both of us. Like, you're bringing your spouse, you're bringing your girlfriend, you're bringing your boyfriend. Like, they got to be cool. Otherwise, that relationship's going to suffer.
Yeah, they got to be bringing some to the table.
I had a relative who had an insufferable girlfriend, and I just never asked about her. And she would be at events. So, you know, you say hi and then you just move to the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of like started to catch on that like no one was cool with her. But it's like, and then we had to have like a come to Jesus family thing, which was very uncomfortable because somehow I was the only one speaking, even though I thought I was representing the group.
Oh, of course.
Such is life. Well, she's gone now. So good riddance.
But she is alive, just to clarify.
We don't know that.
Okay. Hey, Iliza and team. Hope you all have a wonderful kickoff to your summer and are COVID safe and cool.
With Bud Light Seltzer.
I know.
Chug,
we
chug.
are kicking those episodes off. My question is regarding codependency versus just being social/extroverted.
Okay, listen. Let the dog lay on your mouth. Okay, it's not codependency, it's baby love.
Baby love.
She's baby.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that, honestly, really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can. So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, well, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Context. I've been married for 3 years now. I love my wife, same-sex couple, and for the most part, life is good.
Wait, so is it two dudes and one identifies as the wife?
Two ladies.
Two ladies, okay.
One little issue.
Wait, two ladies that are married?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding. Two chicks bonded in
matrimony.
Matrimony.
There you go.
All right.
One little issue. She's introverted and I am extremely extroverted. We drove around a lot. We move around a lot due to her being military, which has made it difficult for me to have friends. I have a tendency to exhort my extrovertedness on her, and she responds by telling me I need to work on my codependency issues. I've told her that hurts my feelings.
Well, you're lesbians. Of course you're codependent.
I don't feel codependent, but being alone and isolated truly is draining to me. I do a lot of talking on the phone. I mingle with coworkers.
Yeah.
But in the end, I miss my outings and friend hangouts, and my wife just doesn't get it and says that it's because I hate being alone versus me wanting that social energizing. If I can come to terms with her needing random moments of, quote, alone, just no interaction, and not judge her as standoffish or cold, does me wanting to engage in social things mean I'm codependent? No. I can go evenings alone, and prior to our marriage, I did, but I hardly ever turned down social engagements, and I loved that. Do you believe me needing/wanting to have social interaction, even with my wife daily, is codependent? I'm starting to think I'm crazy because it's become such an issue with our marriage. Help, advice is always appreciated.
It's just a little unfair because your wife is doing her job. Like you guys are tailoring your life to hers. And, thank you for your service. And that is a difficult life, but you did sign up for it, I'm assuming. But there's no way when you signed up for it, you could fully understand how isolating it could be. I bet you there are a lot of other military wives who kind of feel the way that you do. And especially if you don't have kids to like focus on and like drain all of your energy. I totally get that. I get that you're like, look, I'm a friendly person. I like doing things. I like going out. And she's like, what's your problem? Because she's getting fulfilled by her job. I wonder what your job is. And I wonder if it's as fulfilling, as hers is for her. But if you're as understanding about her, I think you very rationally would be like, look, this is just how I'm wired. Codependency would be you are obsessed with your wife. And she comes home and you're like, what are you doing, babe? I want to sit with you. I want to be with you. All of your things. To explain, you've given up a big part of your life to help her realize her dream of whatever she does in the military and help her reach her career goals. So she has to just be a little, I think, softer language and a little bit more forgiving. Does she has an issue with you going out, or?
It sounds like it's that. So our question asker is at home with her. There's a pandemic. They move a lot. So she doesn't have a lot of other friends. And so she's like to her wife, like, hey, what's up? And her wife is like, ugh.
Right. Your wife's coming home from work and she's like, I'm drained. So I think you do whatever you need to do, whether it is going out, and it's totally cool to go out without her and make new friends. Maybe see if there's like a military sort of support group for like spouses of military. But she needs to be supportive of that. And I can respect that she's tired at the end of the day and she, can't be there for you like that. But that's also why you guys work.
Well, and she gets her designated alone times where she isn't bothered. So could it be something like, look, when she gets home, give her an hour to decompress. Yeah. But then like every night after that hour, you guys can talk for an hour. Like something where you
need stimulation too.
Right.
So you're like, can we like play a game? Can we saw something, build something? She needs to respect that this is how you're wired too. And your love language is like connecting with people or whatever. So she needs to meet you a little bit more in the middle. You're not codependent though.
No.
You're a little understimulated.
Unless you're fully lying in this question.
Which you probably are.
Then no. You're just texting her every 5 minutes like, what's up? What's up?
You want to know the truth? Because this works in male-female relationships. I don't know how it's going to work with lesbians, but like you give her the ice cold shoulder. Let me tell you something, girls. When you do that to your husband, they will do anything. You just like, I'm fine. Be like, I just, and just, I don't want to, I'm going to take the dog for a walk alone. Your husband will trail after you like a sad puppy. They will. Look, what can I do? What can I do? Let me say this. This is TMI.
Oh, no.
Nothing. We're getting a lot of our kitchen redone, a lot of things redone, and there's been no food in the house. And I came home yesterday and Noah's like, did you have dinner? And I was like, I had chips at a gig and it's too late to eat now. And there's no food in the house. And that's like the thing that you do. So screw it. I'll just order Postmates and I'll just find my own food. I woke up this morning. There's smoothie and coffee and lunch meat and everything. All you have to do is lose your shit on your husband.
So you can eat your loose lunch meats, your favorite meal.
Loose meat. I'm just saying you don't want to do that. You don't want to give her a cold shoulder, but sometimes, at least for boys, it gets results. Yeah, I got tasty smoothie now. Brought to me. What? I'm jealous of my smoothie.
No.
We each have roles, and he is my heart, and food makes your heart go. And I can't get my own food because I've lost the ability to do so because he gets all the food. You can't take it away from me. I do plenty of things. I do dances. I do songs about the dog. What?
Are those contributions?
I'm not going to list off what I contribute. That's tacky.
I'm not worried about what you bring to the table.
Bring to the table some hot lunch meat.
Hi. Greetings. This is Sandy Shoe 13. Greetings from South Africa. Yes, the land where elephants roam free. Just kidding.
I've been there, and I know that's not true.
So I'm in need of some advice. My fiance and I got engaged in the beginning of March.
The land where elephants roam free.
And at the same time,
Wait, start over. She got engaged?
Got engaged at the beginning of March. At the same time, we legally got married as we are looking to emigrate. So we thought we'd save time on the paperwork.
Emigrate or immigrate?
Emigrate. We'd set our wedding to be in September, but about 3 weeks ago, my fiance got offered a job in Sweden and he needs to be there in August.
Oh.
So we have now moved our wedding up to happen within the next 2 months. Long story short, my mom, Asian Tiger Mom, who was mentally preparing herself for me to be moving out and be married, now we've turned her world upside down by leaving the country. She's giving us such grief with the wedding, and also planning a wedding small around COVID has been a problem. We've been fighting, and now she's like, you're not getting married. I am not happy. You guys can get married next year when Ben can come back. But in the meantime, I'm not allowed to leave to go to Sweden until next year. And if I think of leaving, she has threatened to sever our mother-daughter relationship. Help. How do I deal with such an unreasonable person? I know she's upset that I'm leaving as I'm a huge part of her life and help her out a lot, so it'll be a huge adjustment for her and my family. My fiance is white and struggles to understand the relationship between the kids and their parents in Asian culture.
I mean, I struggle to understand it. I'm white.
Also, we're going to try and get tickets to come see you in Stockholm in October. Whoop, whoop.
Come on out. I don't have that. I'm not Asian. You know what? I'm going to confess it. I'm not Asian.
Yeah.
Everybody thought I was, but I'm not. I would put it, look, I can't, your mom, I mean, this is like a deep cultural thing. So it's not even in my purview to really give advice on that. You know, maybe there's a version where you say to her, I'm sorry, do you love and miss me, or do you just miss the things that I will do for you? I also think this, if the connection is that strong and your mom loves you that much, she will adjust. She will get over it. A part of being a mother is letting go of your child. Not like fully letting go, but like when they get married, like that's their person now. This is what, you get married and your obligation is now to your husband. So you're going to have to find the strength to do what it is that you need to do. There's always ways to meet your mom halfway. Meet her in the middle. It sounds like she doesn't want to be alone. It doesn't sound like your dad's in the picture. So she doesn't want to be alone. And I think that's part of it. And she's scared. But this is life. And you can't put yours on hold just for that. And I guarantee if you go to Sweden, your mother will still talk to you. And if she doesn't, like that's really unfortunate. But like how long are you supposed to put your life on hold?
She's not in charge of your life. I get there's different dynamics that I don't understand, but at the end of the day, you have to make the decision that's best for you.
Because a tiger mom loves her child and just wants what's best for her child. That's the whole thing, is they're really hard on their kids because they want their kids to be not so much happy but successful. But you've married someone, and I'm sure she wanted that for you. So she's being selfish, and you're gonna have to put your baby tiger paw down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's all you can do. You probably, you're afraid of that. You don't want to hurt her. She doesn't want to be alone. Do you have siblings? Are there other Asian women who can rally around her?
Yeah. Give her something to do.
Something to do.
Okay. I have a question, and this is for the pod.
As opposed to?
I live in Austin, Texas, and I've got to get the fuck out of here, LOL.
What? Everybody's moving to Austin. Where are you going? We've got an okay barbecue scene.
My boyfriend is from here and also
you don't want tacos out of a refurbished trailer? You don't want perennial Christmas lights? You don't love drinking with a dog everywhere you go? Austin, hear my cries. I got more. Welcome to Austin. Our mayor's a dog. Everything's take your dog to work day. It's just couples with big labs. Everybody's drinking like Tecate outside a refurbished camper. Everybody's at the lake. All right, go ahead.
I'm originally from New York City, but lived all over the East Coast and Montreal before moving here. As a fully vaccinated sheep, I want to travel as much as possible next year and every year following.
I'm a fully vaccinated sheep. I love that.
So the question is, from the great state of Texas, if I were to move to the West Coast, Oregon likely, possibly Washington, is traveling to Europe from the West Coast way harder than the East Coast? At this point, because I work remotely in my career, that's my only hiccup with moving out west. Apologies, this is rambly. As always, hi, baby arm, suspicious fluffy Snow Peach, Smoky Husky, and Iliza, the queen of nuance.
Ooh, she is suspicious. It's harder in that it's just more time in the air if you're flying direct. So, to cross the country, it's like 5 or 6 hours, depending on your tailwinds. And then flying from New York to London is about 7 hours. And 7 hours isn't that long. Like 6 hours actually isn't that long, especially if you take an early morning flight, you kind of just fall asleep. Of course, if you're flying first class, life's a lot easier. And in some ways, I guess longer time gives you more time to sleep. Like those flights where like you sleep for like an hour and a half and then you're there and then you're up. So, it's you're adding some time, but truthfully, like once you're in the air, like who cares? It really, air travel is remarkable. Like you watch 2 bad movies, eat a meal, maybe, you pass out for a little bit and you're there.
Don't not move because you're thinking about
and the more you do it,
Europe.
the easier it gets. And the more you do it, the more miles you get.
Yeah.
There's ways to make it fun. There's always drugs. Take an Ambien. As long as you're not a weirdo on it, poof, you're there. Poof.
D Nation with a 1 instead of an I. Hello, Iliza Baby Arm, the hot, very hot Scotty.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
As I was saying, take drugs, I was like, oh no, I can be held accountable. We have a problem in this country, by the way, with like, oh, someone said something, so I did it, and I have no culpability. I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't say take drugs. If you can't think for yourself because a celebrity said take drugs and I wasn't even specific about them, and then you do them, I'm not a doctor. I shouldn't be held responsible for it. But yes, drugs that make you chill on a plane are a lot more fun. Flying's a lot more fun. Oh, she said take a Klonopin, and then I did, and my eye puffed up. Well, that's on you, okay? What?
I like how you think the worst thing that's going to happen is your eye's going to puff up.
I don't care. Like, it's just like, what about culpability? It's not like a corporation telling you eating corn is okay and then you die, or a pharmaceutical company. I'm just saying, like, you take something that makes you chill out a little bit. You sleep, you relax. It's great. Make your own little hidey hole in that seat. Get to know your neighbor. Bring your own sandwich. Watch a couple episodes of Friends, and you're there.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. Like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
D Nation with a 1 instead of an I. Hello, Iliza Baby Arm, the hot, very hot Scotty, Smoky Husky,
Hot heat.
and the sweet Snow Peach, and Gracie. Long-time listener, first time writing in. I have a few small questions.
Okay.
First one is back in the episode Darkest Before the Dawn. Iliza, you talked about making a map of unique coffee shops around the country and plan to put the map out in a year. Any progress on said map?
Much progress on said map. The tour just got started and we did a couple dates in Florida. And recently on a trip to Palm Springs, I stopped in a city called Upland that I had never heard of and went to a rad coffee shop. So that made the list. So it really just goes as fast as the tour goes, and I don't want to ever just add one just to add it. Although, sadly, we were in Florida And I looked at my map, and a place that I like so much had been permanently closed because of the pandemic. So progress on it.
Is it a public list? Will it be made publicly
It will be.
available?
I will make it public at one point. I just want to, you don't want to have just 15 locations. I want to amass enough that it's like anywhere you go, you can find one of my shops.
All right.
I'm very excited for it, but it's still going.
Okay.
Coffee on the Road.
Okay.
It's my brilliant title.
If you could live in any time era, which would it be? Mine would be the 1950s for the fashion, music, and cars, but I'm gay, so it would be bad as well. LOL.
It would be bad literally up until last week for you. That's tough. You know, it's so funny. We're not allowed to answer that question anymore because it's like, well, what about civil rights? What about women? Like you have to all of a sudden take into account everyone's struggle. So if your question is, as a white couple, as a white straight couple, when would I have wanted to live? I think the 60s would have been really cool because it was America's sort of rebirth and we were coming out of, you know, you're 20 years out of a war. And of course there was like the Korean War, but America was like getting away from like the Levittown nuclear family and getting into more rock and roll. And like we're getting closer to Vietnam and like the hippie break off. And like that's when America starts to sort of come into its own in a pop culture way.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a really formative, cool time just to be around. And I think that would have been cool. I'm not like a 60s fan. I don't like love 60s music, but like that would have been really cool. And to remember the 80s a little bit better would have been cool too, because I was born in 1983. So
I was born in 91. I wouldn't have minded being born a little earlier so I could have experienced more of the 90s.
90s were dope. I mean, experiencing the 90s is like you're like in your teens, 20s in the 90s. Teens, 20s. And the truth is anything before like 1930 and you're just dying of cholera at like 15. So
yeah,
anything's cool. The 80s were like super innocent and our country was doing well and everything felt safe, minus all of the like urban legends. So they all sound pretty cool. 70s had a huge boom in comedy.
I would have been able to go to urban legend in theaters.
There you go. So there's your answer. The 60s would have been cool.
This last question I think is very important.
Oh, God.
P.S. Do you think you guys can maybe get Mariska Hargitay on the pod? I think two powerful, strong women like you two would be an awesome episode. I mean,
sure.
Come on. I would love Mariska. Mariska, excuse me.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it Mariska?
It is Mariska. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
The closest we can get is Mickey Hargitay's plant dealership.
Whenever I drive by it, I think
on Fountain.
SVU.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. She wants to come on if that's her ultimate wish.
Mariska, come on over.
Yeah, I'm sure you got nothing else to do.
She's so busy.
No,
Can you imagine doing a show like that for 20 plus years? An hour-long drama, 22 episode seasons for 20 plus years.
And I'm right there to chronicle.
I bet when you sign up for a show in like the 90s, you don't know that you're going to, that's the next 2
But I think as an actor, you're
life.
like, look, I just want to work. Like by the grace of God, you got that gig.
For sure. Sure.
But
I don't think anyone's like bummed about it, but it's pretty crazy.
Everybody loves SVU because everybody loves watching stuff about sex crimes. Fight me on it.
I love a sex crime.
Oh my God.
I don't want to watch regular Law and Order. I don't want just a murder. I want there to be, because SVU is also children and old people. And I love when the old people are sex crimed.
Okay, that's your soundbite, not mine. You monster. Sex crimed.
Hi, Eliza and Emily. A casual friend of mine asked me last July to be a bridesmaid in her wedding this August. It'll be intimate and on the beach, so nobody COVID shame me, LOL. She recently...
I think we're past that.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have the vaccine by now, like, good luck.
I still have one more. Okay. She recently messaged me that she's so stressed that none of her bridesmaids/bridesmen will message her back regarding important wedding details. I told her she should have her maid of honor speak with them to alleviate her stress.
Yeah.
She then tells me she never assigned a maid of honor and that I am now it. I respectfully declined, but she insisted.
Oh, no, thank you.
And I am now the maid of honor 6 months before the wedding. I am now in charge of her bachelorette party, so I sent out a group message to the bride's bays asking what everyone could comfortably contribute. No one, including her mother, will message me back. I had hoped to do an Airbnb weekend somewhere nice, but can't afford that alone. We can't bar hop or other bachelorette things because of COVID, and I can't and won't front all of the money for a weekend getaway that no one will help with.
Especially because you're like the de facto maid of honor. Like, I don't even think she really wanted you to be the maid of honor.
So she says, what are some ideas for a COVID-friendly bachelorette party with only a few months to plan/reserve anything and zero help from anyone in the wedding party? Now, this first message was sent early March, so we have gotten a follow-up this week. Update, I have just over 2 months to figure this out. The bridal party continues to ignore me, and the bride moved out of town / got a new job / doesn't have her bachelorette weekend off anymore. Do I just not throw her a bachelorette party?
You can't. This is too much. Also, her friends are monsters.
Also, by the way,
4 months?
This was said, a casual friend of mine asked me to be a bridesmaid.
You got to decline. First of all, you shouldn't have said yes. And I think it's very telling. Like, maybe no one likes this person. You're telling me 4 months of you reaching out, something's off here. Either you sent one email. I bet you people did write back, but they weren't helpful. They were like, yeah, I'm good with whatever. And this girl's like out of town now. Like, you might just have to have a come to Jesus with that bride and be like, look, people are not responding. You've moved out of town. This is too much for me. Like,
yeah, what time, like, what time did you expect us to do this now that you don't have this off? Can you do like, okay, what weekend were you thinking? And then you find an Airbnb and you say, look, here would be the cost. Are people comfortable with that? Rather than
try that.
What can you? I would be hesitant to, I'd be like, I can contribute $5. I'm not giving you a number up front. Tell me what number it is and I'll agree or not agree.
Yeah, no one's going to, yeah, exactly. Also, like when you go to one of those restaurants where it's like build your own bowl and they're like, we have over 8 million options. People don't like that. People like it when you say, hi, we have this weekend. This is the cost. Can you do it? Then people can say, oh, shoot, I'm booked or whatever. And they'll all start to lie about why they can't go.
Yeah.
But you do need to, if you're going to do this, you do need to make it easier for them. Because I've been on those lists where it's like, when's everyone free? And I'm just like, delete, spam, don't care.
Yeah.
It's too much. Also, she's out of town. It sounds like these friends sound awful, but I don't believe that no one has reached out.
Or the fact that this person is a casual friend who was assigned maid of honor tells me that this girl does not have the closest friends. So everybody's probably casual and all of them are like,
yes.
Isn't someone closer to her supposed to be doing this?
Call the mom and be like, I need some help. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, what's our plan
This
here,
shouldn't
Mom?
be on you. And the fact that she moved out of town,
Yes.
people are allowed to travel now more, but it's like,
plan
people
a
don't
fun
wanna fly
dinner.
in.
Plan a fun dinner.
Fun dinner.
Yeah, this is
If you're living in a
nightmare.
city that's still like not the coolest about it, but
Sit outside, book
yeah.
a table.
You gotta let this go.
Do not front any of those costs.
You should not have said yes to this. And do not front anything. Get in touch with the mom and get in touch with a friend and be like, here are the facts and this is really stressful. Do you even care if you go to this wedding?
No, but what a
Be
nightmare.
like, I've done my best and I'm so sorry there's a buzzsaw in the background.
You know.
It's so loud. I'll just talk really close to the microphone.
I don't know if
hate
that
this
makes
girl
it better.
for you. Okay. Get out of it. Because I don't think you want to be doing the fact. What is it? You emailed us 6 months ago and then
March.
What is that?
2 months ago. So they had like 4 months. Now they have like 2 months right now.
And she moved. Like this shouldn't be on you.
No.
You shouldn't have said yes.
Where are her friends? Also, bridesmaids / bridesmen. What are the men?
Get out of this. Move on. That's my advice. Get the mom involved and move on or put it back on the friend. Tell her you're moving. Be like, I'm sick. I can't make it.
No.
These people sound awful.
Try one more time to arrange something that you
group email.
set.
Hey guys, I'm really trying to make this happen for her.
How about
I
this
was thinking
restaurant?
this weekend it would if we all said yes, it would cost this much per person. What do you guys think? And if they're like, we can't make it, can't do it, then go back to her and be like, I really tried. I'm trying to factor in so many schedules. I also have a life.
Yeah.
It's not like you guys are all BFF from like college. You don't even know these people. So you
Get
won't
a new
even,
identity, leave
by the way,
town.
this girl moved. You will not be friends with her
Yeah.
in like 2 years. So
Yeah.
let it go.
Okay, so somebody submitted a question and has since submitting their question, like literally this past week, have deleted their account. But I can still see the question, but it's just coming from like an inactive account. So, okay.
Is the question eerie?
No, it just is.
Does it give any clues to why they disappeared?
But they've disappeared. So I hope they're okay out there. This is from Tori. Hey, yo, Iliza and crew. I think you guys have the best podcast on the internet. And it
Wow.
makes me It makes my drives to work enjoyable. Here's my question. My parents went through a pretty bad divorce lately. Things got ugly quick, and my dad tried to stop supporting me in my education. I'm a sophomore in college studying meteorology.
Whoa.
He is a doctor and makes more than enough money to afford to support me. Thankfully, through many affidavits I wrote, I was awarded full support for my education and any expenses until I graduate. My question is, how do I ask him for funds when bills arise? Our relationship has been rocky at best since the divorce, and it seems like he doesn't want very much to do with me. Unfortunately, I have to contact him directly about my expenses. He likes to drag his feet whenever I send him my upcoming bills. I don't want to be a bitch about this, but at the same time, there is a deadline for tuition and rent. LOL. Any advice is appreciated. Much love from Arizona. Here's the thing. Parents don't necessarily pay your rent when you're in college. Like, your parents getting divorced has nothing to do with a college student getting their rent paid.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I get like you've signed affidavits and he needs to pay your expenses, your tuition.
What does an affidavit have to do with it?
I assume when they got divorced, there was some sort of legal, like, my family was supporting me in college, even though they were divorced. Like, he makes X amount of dollars. He needs to keep supporting me. I didn't fill out financial aid because
it just sounds like he got a divorce and now he's like, this isn't on me. I think that happens sometimes in a divorce. And maybe there's like another woman being like, you shouldn't have to do this. But, you know, it sounds like you need to pick up the phone or go see him in person and be like, do you not care about my education? And just say to him, like, please don't make me beg you for this every time. Is there a way we can work this out? Because, by the way, he does not owe you any of that. It'd be great if he paid for it.
Yeah.
But your parents there's no legal obligation. You're not a minor.
But it sounds like now legally he does need to pay your tuition at minimum. So when you did the affidavits, like, how was it arranged that he would legally pay it? Like, what's the consequence if he doesn't pay it?
Have a conversation with him in person and just be like, this is an agreement. This is very stressful for me. It feels like you divorced mom and you don't want anything to do with me. Mm-hmm. And you make it very uncomfortable for me. And I don't know what I did wrong. And he'll be like, oh, Angel Honey Bun, you didn't do anything wrong. I think your dad's just probably dealing with a lot right now. And he's looking at the cost of a divorce, which is huge. And he's like, oh my God, and I've got to pay for this college. So sit down with him and be like, and talk about actual expectations.
Yeah.
And be like, is there a way I can just get this? Or is there a way to make this less painful? Because he probably doesn't want to talk about it and it's tacky. And he'll just be like, no, of course you can have it. You know?
Yeah.
You got to be direct with him.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I say, don't make a jerk off out of me, Dad. Don't make me come find you.
And if he's real rude about it, then that's when you fall back on the legal, whatever the legal ramifications are for whatever he's on the hook for.
Yeah. Be like, I was getting my education. You got a divorce and it feels like you divorced me too.
Mm-hmm.
Then he'll be like, I'm actually not your real father. And you'll be like, oh, fuck. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Kick it.
Heather Feather 629. Hi, Iliza and Emily. I've been dating this guy for a couple of months now. I'm 30 female. He's 37 male. He's very sweet, kind, hardworking, and much more. Ooh. Something I value in an SO, significant other, is intelligence. I don't just mean a formal education, but someone who can speak and write properly is sexy. He's definitely smart. He went the route of skilled trade instead of college and works with a lot of math at his job. Math is definitely not a strong suit of mine, and I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone. However, his grammar and spelling are horrible. It drives me up a wall, and I don't want to correct him because I feel like that's so rude. But if I'm using a word improperly or spelling something wrong over and over, I would want someone to tell me. I will correct some of my close friends, but I feel like correcting your significant other is kind of mean. Should I just let it go, or should I tell him that THERE, they're going to the store, should be THEY, apostrophe RE?
A huge turnoff. I'm sorry, it is. And people can say it's, it's like this weird thing in our country where it's like, you've got to accept all people and all their limits in education. It's like, yeah, but what about, there's different levels of things. And if you're, pumping gas, it doesn't matter if you're literate or speak well, but those are the things that are important to you. Mm-hmm. You're not being a snob. It's not like he doesn't know which salad fork to use and he can't make small talk at a party, whatever. Different people at different levels have different values.
Yeah.
And everybody will try to convince you that your values don't matter because you're being a snob. But you're not. Mm-hmm. You cannot help. These are signs of, I hate to say this, of a bigger issue. And that issue is that you don't come from the same world. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm sure he's really sweet and he's, and he's really great and all these things. But those are not so much cracks as much as signs of other major differences, probably in the way that you guys view the world, money, family, religion, social things, you know? There's nothing wrong. Our country's built on like blue collar people. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not going to college or going to vocational school. But there is a reason that people tend to date within their own group, whether it be class or color or culture, because of the familiarity of it. So it would actually bother me too. And it's actually very hard for me to take someone seriously when they cannot speak properly or they do not type properly. And I'm not talking about, we've all made the their mistake, but like it just is, it signifies something a little bit deeper. You value education, and there's different types of education, and there's nothing wrong with the type of education that you value.
Yeah.
Some people like the school of hard knocks. Some people are great mechanics. You know, I don't know anything about my car, but I also don't need to because of the type of education I sought. So
do you think that, in my mind, the way to go about it would be to have not a conversation with him about a specific, like, there, but to talk to him and say, look, would it bother you when I correct you? Because maybe he will say, oh, no, I never, or maybe he'll say, I don't care and I don't want to think about it when I'm just texting with my friend,
indicative
my
of a greater issue.
Right.
I completely agree with that. You say, because you don't want to attack, you don't want to make especially with a guy.
You don't want to nitpick.
But it's not nitpicking. My whole point was you don't want to make a man feel more insecure because they're very sensitive. I personally, if I said something wrong, I really love knowing words, etymology. Like I really like to know things that I don't know.
Yeah.
So ask him, be like, I've noticed I never want to make you feel insecure. I think you're so smart. I know that if I miss you, like if I got a fact wrong, I would want to know. And I've said this to people before. I'm like, I'd rather you make the mistake in front of me. That way I can tell you, that way you don't do it in public. You know, that way you don't make a mistake on a business email, you know, right. I say, I would hate to have someone discount you because you used a word wrong. And he'll probably say like, well, then they're assholes if they do that. And it's like, well, that's the way of the world.
Yeah.
His answer, and you have to, I hate that girls are just like, I found a guy and this has got to be the one. His answer to the way, if you broach it correctly, will be extremely telling of the type of relationship you're in for.
Yeah.
If he's like, there you go again, using big words to try to make me feel bad, this is not the guy for you.
Right.
So it's less about it's really more about his response. And you should listen because he's telling you who he is. If he's like, yeah, I would love to know. I've never been great with English, you know.
Yeah.
The writing is less of an issue as long as he can speak well, you know.
Yeah.
But it is cringeworthy to hear when somebody like butchers the language.
Yeah.
That is a native English speaker.
Yeah.
If he were like an immigrant, I'd be like, dude, like let that go.
Yeah.
But
you always see on Reddit, people will post like, you know, sorry, English is my second language, and then have the most perfect.
It sounds fine.
And you're like, what are you talking about? Your English is better than mine.
There's nothing. It's not, you know. And so these are just the things that are important to you, and it's cringeworthy to your ears, and that's okay. So see what he says.
Yeah.
You be as kind as possible, not trying to embarrass you or anything. See what he says. Yeah. See if he can be, if you can be disarming. Kick it so softly. Kick it now.
Hi, Iliza, Emily, and Teeny Cheeny. All the context. 36 female, married to a man. Second marriage. First husband was a serial cheater. Okay.
I thought you would say serial killer.
My first husband was a serial killer.
But I'm okay.
It's okay now.
I'm okay.
I'm a newly-ish wed, and my husband and I are head over heels for each other. I say all the time, I have the best life. We are honestly best friends. We've blended our families and kids get along, and we are working towards several goals as a team. But recently, I accidentally saw that my husband Google image searched pictures of women that don't share my aesthetic. I get that all men look.
He looked up big black chicks, didn't he?
And porn is
Dudes
a thing, which
I
I don't understand, but it is what it is. But I do have insecurities stemming from the aforementioned serial cheater ex-husband. Now I'm left feeling like I'm not my new husband's type aesthetically. I was curious to know if you have dealt with anything similar and how you handle it. Attach a photo so you know I'm not the one girl at your show with a horn growing off my head. P.S. Not getting my master's, but I am a mermaid with a degree in both psychology and mass communication.
Well, then you should know this. Okay, so super cute girl, right? Pretty woman.
Yeah. What is he Googling?
It doesn't matter because I think a lot of I've never dealt with this. But I think a lot of times people look up porn that is so opposite of what they know because you can kind of be detached from it. Think about like how a lot of guys like in the mafia like have girlfriends like, I can't do the things to her that I do to my wife. It's the mother of my kids.
Just Goodfellas.
It's Goodfellas. So I think what would be weirder if it was like your best friend he was looking up, or women who look like you but they weren't you.
Yeah.
I think you need to remove the cheating part of it. I don't think looking at porn is a bad thing, and I don't think fantasizing about random things, I think it's kind of healthy.
Yeah.
Is the issue more that you found that he was looking at porn? Would you be more comforted if he was looking at like a slightly tan girl with brown hair? Or would you then think, how come I'm not enough if I already look like that? So I don't think it's unhealthy. I also don't think it's something you should worry about, whatever he's looking up. I also don't think, if this is your best friend, there's a version where you sit down and you be like, hey, I just want to talk to you about this. And if you are cool with him looking at porn, because I think part of your issue is that he looked at porn.
Well, she's like Google image searching.
Yeah, I don't know. And also, like, you don't want to be if you want to go digging for stuff, you'll find it. Or you'll turn something into what it is. So first reconcile, like, is it the fact that he's looking at porn? Why? And he'll be like, why were you on my computer?
Or is he just Googling like Abercrombie model?
Who knows what he was doing?
I don't know. Like,
why were you digging through his stuff? Why were you searching in the first place? I think you need to come to terms with the fact that maybe you've got your own insecurities. But let's say you have. And let's say you randomly were searching for something else and that popped up.
Yeah.
You're within your rights to say to him, hey, there is no judgment. And talk about your issues. Be like, I don't want to put this on you. I just wanted to voice this because I always want us to have an open line of communication.
Yeah.
And if he is so great, he'll be like, yeah, that's kind of like something that I was just looking at once, and he'll lie even though he looks at it all the time.
Yeah.
But what's important is that you feel heard and that he can sort of quell that, and that he can say like, yeah, I get off to that sometimes, but it has nothing to do with how attracted I am to you.
Yeah.
You're allowed to, by the way, that's fully insane. Just because he's attracted to you doesn't mean there aren't other types of women he could be attracted to. In fact, you want it the other way. Having a type, I always think is a little weird.
Yeah.
Because then I would, if he's like, I love slightly tan women with brown hair, then I would, and if I were you, I'd feel like, oh, I'm just a box.
Yeah.
I'm just filling a box. I could have been anyone. That's why it's so offensive when guys say like, oh, I love Asian girls. It's like, so just any Asian girl?
Yeah.
I date black guys. I don't date black guys. You're like, so all of them are the same. What you're saying is that all of them are the same.
Yeah.
When you do that. That's why the whole thing is so offensive and other things. So I think you should be happy.
My most common Google is probably any actress name plus height. Sometimes you're watching a movie and you're like, what's going on there? How tall is Emily Blunt?
Okay.
And Google will tell you.
Cool search. Cool way to be armed with the facts.
Hey guys, love your podcast and you so much.
Thank you.
I can't explain how understood you guys make me feel listening to the podcast. I generally agree with every comment Iliza says, which makes me feel like a strong boss.
There you go. Makes me feel good too. Is she going to say but?
No.
Okay.
Here's my context and question. I've been in a relationship with a guy for over 10 years. I am 31. He is 28. We moved from the UK to Australia together, bought our first home together, and have traveled many parts of the country together.
The country of Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm his first girlfriend and took his V card. He is not my first in either of those categories.
Whoa. Flexing on him.
Even though he hasn't given me any indication that he is unhappy or wants to explore other women, I can't shake the feeling that because he hasn't experienced or explored his options, that our relationship is doomed to end at some stage and I'll be a mess. As I myself have explored and know what I like/don't like, so I would feel a bit hypocritical believing that he doesn't feel the need. Do you think that it's possible that I am all he needs? To add, I've brought it up over the years. Sorry, there's a correction. Traveled many parts of the world and Australia
It doesn't
together.
fucking matter.
Okay. To add, I've brought it up over the years in different ways, words, and even directly, but still he says no. I want to truly hear him and believe him and not have this nagging at me every moon cycle and question everything, but yet I can't seem to. It probably has stopped me relaxing about where we're going or comparing our lives with our friends, as part of me feels this ticking as to when he'll decide he does need to find out what's out there.
I don't think this is about him. I think this is about you. And I think you are maybe like, what if I didn't explore all my options? 10 years with someone and you're 31?
Yeah.
That means you met him at 21. And I'm sorry. I get that you love me and like we agree. You did not live a life. Like maybe you were just like open for business and you were just like fucking since you were like 15 or something. But at 21, you cannot say that like you lived a life, you know what you like. And let's hope and pray that you're not the same person you were then. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this is a little bit more about you. What's interesting to me is men have no problem being like, I met her real young. Like, look at Elvis. He met Priscilla Presley when she was like 12. Men have no problem being like, I met her young. I'm going to take up all of her time and I'm going to be the one for her. They've never been like, I think she might want other things. It's like, how could she not just want me? So it's interesting because I think only a woman would be insecure about that. If you are strong and you do think you're great and you do think, I think you feel a little guilty. I think you feel like maybe you didn't get to experience everything, but moreover, I think you feel guilty. You think you're limiting him. But it sounds like, you know, he's an adult and it sounds like you guys do a lot of stuff together. It's not like you're like making him stay home and he wants to see the world. Your relationship might come to an end as he gets older, or you're his world and you're all he needs. But the truth is, you won't know till you go, because you can meet someone your own age and get married and then they spring a problem on you. This is just part of life. So you have to make the decision. Are you going to stop worrying about it? Is this something deeper with you? He is a grown man now, wasn't when you met him. And he's telling you how he feels. And if you keep undermining him, you will manifest a reality.
Yeah.
He will start to think you're insecure, which is very unattractive.
Or I'll just be like, God, fine. I'll go sleep
Fine,
with someone else.
exactly.
Leave me alone.
And don't do like a walkabout. Like, don't be like, let's just each go sleep with someone, see what happens. It'll wreck it. So
yeah,
I think you need to dig deep on this one and just learn to accept what he's saying.
Yeah.
He could break up with you no matter who he was, no matter what age.
Yeah.
And the more you talk about it, the more it's going to be subconsciously something he thinks about.
Yeah.
Kick it.
Top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
My bottom of the cob. I think we should always
We'll switch it and start with bottom. Okay.
My top of the cob.
No, you said you want to do your
My
bottom.
bottom of the cob. The whole thing is called the top of the cob, in case you haven't listened to the podcast. My bottom of the cob. There's no worse feeling as a homeowner than looking either at your floor or in your ceiling and you see a tiny little hole, and then you see little termite tushies, little butts at work building one of their termite towers. I looked behind me in my office the other day and I was like, what is that? Like stalactite. Is it a stalagmite or stalactite? What's the one that hangs?
Stalactite, right? Ceiling.
Okay, fine. I was like, what is that stalactite hang? Like that dirt colored stalactite. And it was like the size of my pinky and it was just coming down from the ceiling. And I took it down and you can just see them in that hole.
Do not message us.
Yeah.
Once they're in the ceiling, they're everywhere. Once you can see them, they're destroying the home. I don't want to hear about it.
I don't want to hear about it. We called a guy. He's like, those are subterranean and they probably built. So we'll put some poison in there. Hope they take it to their queen. I had like little holes gross me out. Teeny holes.
You know, that's a thing.
Yeah.
A phobia.
I mean, I'm not afraid of it, but it is
like
gross.
a constant, like online, there's a lot of like warnings if there's something with a bunch of holes, like a honeycomb, like things that have a lot of holes in it.
Honeycomb doesn't bother me, but like looking at chia pudding kind of grosses me out.
Mm-hmm. It's part of the thing.
Whole phobic. Anyways, that is upsetting. And I've had them in like wood coming out of like the floorboards of another house. And you're just like, God, they're in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're in there.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to dress my house up in a circus tent. I hate it. Kick it.
My bottom of the cob is I got sunburned. I went outside. It's not safe out there. I made a mistake, even though Iliza herself gave me a beautiful sunscreen. I didn't wear it this day.
Yeah.
This one day, I've been inside, so I just haven't been.
You're
I wasn't
used
ready
to being
for
outside.
it. I wasn't, and I forgot what happens out there.
But maybe it'll become a tan now, and you won't look so purple. Farmer's tan.
I feel like this is
that
still
a tan.
vaguely purple.
No, that looks normal.
That looks normal. This, not so much. My face is a little tough because my hair was down,
patchy.
so that it's like little bang. My bangs are under my bangs. It's white.
You got to kick that skincare into high gear.
I gotta get it together.
You're 30 now.
I know.
Get it going.
I gotta get it together.
My top of the cob. This was pretty cool. So when you're doing a set, Usually there's a host or another comic brings you up. And sometimes if they know you, they kind of know what to say. If you know someone, you kind of know their intro. But sometimes they come up and they say, hey, what do you want me to say? And that's your chance to be like, oh, I've got a Netflix special, or oh, I'm in this new movie. And I normally don't say, I'm like, whatever you can remember is fine. And usually people are just like 5 Netflix specials, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Because the audience isn't like, let me get a pen and paper and what's her Twitter handle?
Yeah.
For a couple nights now, I've been going out the last couple nights, and whoever brings me up didn't have to ask my intro. They naturally just went, she's got a movie coming out on Netflix. It's called Good on Paper. It's out June 23rd. And it's so cool that people on their own, comics who are like ultra competitive and like cool, whatever, that they saw that and had the wherewithal to like process it, not big time and be like, oh, you have a movie coming out? I didn't know. So it was just super cool to hear them do that on their own. And you're just like, oh, right. People saw that trailer, and it made me feel really good. So that was my top. What's yours?
My top is
Good on Paper, June 23rd. Good on Paper, June 23rd. Netflix.
And we'll keep telling you. Okay. Is my, I like a trash movie, and I like trash things in general. And I had an interesting conversation with a friend who's a writer-director, and she basically was like, look, when you watch a movie, you say it's good or bad, right? Like you're like, it's 100% Rotten Tomatoes or it's rotten, okay? And she was like, but when you listen to a song, it's like you either like the vibe of that song right then or you don't. Like you either like the country song at that moment or you want an EDM song at that moment. You're not like, this song is rotten. It's either good for a time or it isn't. And it really has made me think about like guilty pleasures in terms of like, maybe it's just not the right time for it. And I like that. I like that concept. It makes me feel like I can justify my interests.
I think you lack the ability to cinematically appreciate a movie for things other than like, is there a teen girl that I once wanted
to
be?
Movies about teens.
I'm just saying, like, I think
I like good movies.
And I think you'd watch like Citizen Kane and be like boring, and you would lack the skill set to fully appreciate like the storytelling and the cinematography. That's what I do believe. I believe you are not a cinephile.
Offensive.
I don't care. I believe that
How many Criterion Collection releases have you watched?
I don't know.
Those are ones that are deemed important.
And you've shit on all of them.
No, Silence of the Lambs, like Whit Stillman stuff, Election by Alexander Payne, who I think is now bad.
Okay.
Like Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Cool. I've just never heard you like really speak at length in a cinematic way about films that everybody sort of agrees are great. You're always like, Jumbo Shrimp Attack Part 8.
Go listen to my podcast about
never
Loose.
Happening. What?
Loose. Award-winning film. Look, because I talk about good movies. You know what you don't want to hear me talk about? Sebastian Lelio, Oscar-winning director's film Disobedience.
No, because you talk about it all the time.
That's okay, and that's
all
a good film that everyone agrees is good.
Nobody talks about
The
that
Silence
movie.
of the Lambs.
I think it's just Silence of the Lambs.
No, it's
the silencing of the ham.
No, it's the silence.
It's Quiet Ham. It's Quiet Ham USA.
I like Goodfellas.
Just recently, though.
No, not recently. I had seen it.
You never saw Schindler's List.
That I have not seen.
Have you seen Network? Have you seen Good Morning Vietnam?
I've seen Broadcast
Movies
News.
that are part of the canon of the United States. Movies that have been celebrated.
I've seen a lot of them.
Network. Why would I pick that?
I don't know why Network.
I'm not going to take it anymore. All right.
Okay. My top is now a bottom.
Power bottom.